All right. Good evening and salutations, my soap opera fans, or our soap opera fans. So, special guest in the building, but everyone knows him. At this point, if you don't know him, you need to know him. Ladies and gentlemen, DC Soap Sanctuary. How you doing?
Hey guys, I am here. I'm doing great, Albert. How are you?
You know I'm doing good.
First time on StreamYard. See how much more simple this is than Zoom?
Yes, yes,
Zoom
I
is
do.
kept in my book now.
All right, so I figured I'll start off with the question of the day, which is Colin Summer needed on The Young and the Restless? So, ask you first. I know you
Well,
haven't really been watching that much, but you watched a little bit though, right?
I watched all this week. Only soap I have not seen is B&B, but I don't mind the spoilers.
All right,
Um,
cool.
I will say this is Kylan Summer is giving me love in the afternoon, and I can appreciate that. Now, I think that's probably why the question, even if they're needed, is coming into play because it feels boring. But remember, when couples on soaps are this happy for so long, something is brewing in the background. Something is about to brew in the background. They don't stay happy for too long, but they're giving love in the afternoon. I'm okay with it because this is an adult version of Colin Summer. Because I remember when Colin Summer thought they were brother and sister, and that was the whole storyline back in way back yonder. So it's nice to see this evolution I got going on. They're raising little Harrison, but something is brewing in the background, I would say. What about for you?
No, but it. You know what? When you just sit there and say it's bringing love in the afternoon, that is true. Oh, what's good, Jakaris? What's good, Blackmon? Thank you for joining us. Crystal Williams is in the chat. I don't know if you can actually see, you can't see it on
Yeah, I
yours,
can see
right?
it on here too. I can see it on here too. It's perfect.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So, yes, they're needed in the fact that it is a soap opera, and romance and love and stuff like that is definitely an element. So I'll give it that much. But I don't know. For me, they just seem really boring. Like, oh my god, it's like every time they cut it to them, I was just like, mm-hmm. I couldn't wait for them to just kind of shift away.
Now, is it the
First,
romance aspect? Because I feel like you're not big on romance
I'm
when it comes.
not big on romance, but well, it's not even that. It's just like, especially during Friday's episode, it's like everything else is more interesting than them. Like I couldn't wait for them to go back to Chelsea. I couldn't wait for them to go back to Abby and Devon. I couldn't wait for them to go back to anyone else because their stuff was interesting. When they got to them, it was like, oh, it's cute or whatever. They got a little Harrison. They're playing in the beach and they're rich and everything. And I'm just like, that's great.
They're
That's
rich and
great.
everything.
It's just like, I mean, they, it's just, I mean, and even when you really think about it, what is their jobs? To sit there and babysit their moms? Like, seriously? I, I don't understand where we're in a world where Phyllis could just give up her own job to take orders from her daughter.
I never understood that either. I never
Yeah,
understood. Like you
okay.
own a whole hotel and you're just gonna sell it to chance of winners to just go work for your daughter to just get back at Diane. I'm like, wow, Diane has really got you shook. Like you got your whole business. And it's funny because I remember watching when Phyllis was trying to get the money for the Grand Things, she couldn't, and Nick had to come in and save the day. And because Victoria almost stole it from her. And now you just give it all up just to get back at Diane and go work at Marchetti and Jabot. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't get it. What's good, Stanford? What's good, Blackmon? We're gonna be snippy reading the chat while also talking at the same time. So if we don't actually get back to you right away, we're not ignoring you. It's just I feel like it's just a good flow.
We're
So
here for y'all.
yeah, of course, absolutely. Um, what do you think of the Chelsea story?
Okay, so now I know you said you feel like I'm always rooting for the delusional characters or whatever. So you say allegedly, right? But this, okay, here's what I'll say. That Friday episode, I knew it was gonna be good. Hey, Alicia, I knew it was gonna be good because um the moment they have a disclaimer in the beginning of the episode, that's how you know it's gonna be good.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
You just know it's gonna be good when that happens. Because I feel like the last time that I can recall that a soap had a disclaimer at the beginning of the episode was a Todd and Marty storyline back in '93. you know? Um, so for me, I like the Chelsea storyline, and I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound a little dark. Um, Ottawa 19's on the chat. He might appreciate this. He or she might appreciate this. Um, I actually wanted Chelsea to jump. And let me say why, before I sound like the darkest person in the world, why I wanted her to jump. Because I felt like daytime soaps are very scared to go there in storylines where primetime is not. And that's why primetime is still getting the traction they're getting. And I felt like if she jumped, even though they'd have to show the scene for sensitivity purposes, but it'll make an impact. Even Chelsea survives, but just for her to jump, it'll make that impact. I feel will be good for the story, in my opinion. Kind of like when Heather Weber kidnapped Teo Delgado's baby, which is really Sam's baby on GH, and she actually jumped off the ledge. Like it made the impact. Your heart stopped because you didn't think that was gonna come. So that was my take on it. But I thought it was really, really good. I like the build up to it because she's lost everything at this point. So
Yeah, no, I don't know about the whole jumping part, but um, I did appreciate that, and it's crazy because I was talking to a subscriber, Nikisha, and my whole thing is about therapy. I'm like therapy, but Nikisha was like, when you get to that stage, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to get out. You don't even want to get out of bed. The only thing that you want is for the pain to stop. And I agree with that, but I think that's why I kept saying therapy before we got to this point. Before we got to this point of rushing it. What was Connor and who's the other kid?
Johnny,
Yeah, before we got to that point of her rushing this whole reunion, and they weren't too comfortable with it. And I think even Billy was like, "Yo, listen, we need to get like an outside source. Like we need to get therapy or somebody to kind of help us manage through this whole thing." You know, but she went ahead. She did it her way. It blew up in her face, and it got to a point. You notice that the actress wasn't even wearing makeup.
I did notice that. I did notice
Yeah,
that, which made it very
and,
realistic.
yes, and I love that. But yeah, no, I thought it was done very well. And like you said, the minute it said disclaimer, I was like, oh, okay. I think I need to get some ice cream for this one because this one, all right, cool.
Because you know what, like it's like Angelique Sanford says, "Dang DC," probably because I made the jump comment. That should jump. But let me just say this: that she did try to go to therapy initially. Like Sharon has suggested it, but the problem is Sharon suggested. I think she was a therapist or something, which is totally conflict of interest. I could be wrong at that time, but it was right. We got to see her go through so much because Chelsea. Granted, she did try to poison Adam, but she thought Adam was sleeping with Sharon. But like she lost Adam, she lost Ray, who was her only friend. Her best friend Chloe is a clown because she's befriending Sally Newman and working for Adam. Chloe's forever a clown to me. Y'all know how I feel like Chloe. She's a clown. How you working for the man who killed your daughter? We're not gonna go there right now. So, but she lost everything, and and then her own son is now turning against her. I mean, not turning against her, but she's off the rails. And it just seems like no one in Genoa City gives a damn about her, like truly. And it seems like the only time they care about her is like, oh, in the context of Connor, but not like I care about you, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? She hasn't had
Yeah,
that. So when she was spiraling and she looked over the ledge, I was like, oh my God. And that's why I know y'all think I'm dark. I know Angela looks like, dang, DC, but that's why I kind of wanted her to have that jump because I really want that storyline to have the impact because I feel like we haven't seen a storyline like this on soaps in the longest time. I didn't even like the moment they had a disclaimer, I was like, oh, she about to do something. Just about to jump off this ledge. So something about to happen. And I
nice
think it's
black
really
one,
good.
nice.
What was that?
No, I was just no, it's a comment. My bad.
And Angelique said, "Oh my God, DC said my name right. Teach Albert, please." But honestly, like when I saw the episode, like I can relate to Chelsea. I understand what it's like to have those kind of moments in life when everything just feels so hopeless, and the child that she gave away doesn't want nothing to do with her. Which that storyline is the one time I can kind of understand where Victoria is coming from, but I also know Victoria is also using her position as an advantage at the same time too, because she's just naturally selfish. You can feel that too. Like you can feel she's trying to be a mom, protect her son, but at the same time, because Johnny's like, I don't want nothing to do with Chelsea. She's like, yeah, he doesn't want nothing to do with Chelsea, so I think we should just obey his wishes because that's what she wants too. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I didn't do all
Okay.
the
No,
damn.
no, no, no. Well, at least you're not a fans of races. Okay. Um. Yeah, Stanford. I do need to know how to say your first name, but I'm getting there with everyone. It took me about like what 3 or 4 weeks before I learned Jakar's actual name, so I'm getting there. Um. All right. So we're gonna go with Devon and Nate. What's good, Shakira? We're gonna go with Devon and Nate. As you know, this is where we start to bump some heads as far
Uh,
as the regional
uh,
characters.
uh,
So, all right, what's your take on it? What's your take on it this week?
all right. You want to go first on this one, or you sure you want me to go first?
No, you should go first.
All right. All right. I guess Albert wants to get the delusion out of the way first.
Pretty much, but okay, all right.
All right. All right. So this is what I was saying with Nate. And some of you guys have heard me on other chats before. Oh, go ahead.
Stanford's first name.
Angelique.
Angelique. Okay, thank you. Okay, go.
So, okay, Alicia says, "What are you eating, DC?" I'm eating jerk chicken. I went to a party last night. I'm eating some spicy jerk chicken. So, but with Nate, this is also with Nate. Like I said, he was wrong for what he did. He was wrong. I want to start off with that first as a precursor, as a prerequisite to this conversation. He was wrong. But Elena should have stood 10 toes down for Jake. Okay? Let me explain why. Nate lost his medical career, not necessarily due to Elena, but indirectly when he had that whole argument with Devon, which was based off of that in a way. And so he lost his career. Granted, it was really stupid that he did all this because I don't feel it was necessary. But I guess he wanted to prove himself. He felt insecure. He lost his career. And on top of that, his woman wasn't really standing by him, I feel like. And then when she showed up to the office, like, I have to tell the truth, Nate. And it's like now he felt forced to have to say something. And then he's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it because maybe this is not really who I am. I feel like he had a conscious moment at that point in time. Then we got back home. Yes, he did do a little bit of gaslighting with Elena. I'm not saying he didn't. All right. But he said, I did this for you. And she's like, no, Nate, I'm going to Baltimore. I gotta go. And I'm just like, wow. Like, so you just cost him 2 careers, sis. Where you going? And this is, listen. This is why I feel like even though Devon wants him to give up Victoria's name, I get why Nate didn't, because what if he did that and that didn't necessarily mean they hired him back at Chance or Winners? He needs to still have a job. He doesn't have nothing going on. He's a job. You know what I mean? I'm not saying what Nate is doing wrong, but I'm just saying I understood why he made certain decisions. And insecurity will do that to you. It will put you in a space to do some really stupid stuff. Not saying it's okay. That's my take on Nate.
Okay, no, you. I will agree with you about that as far as insecurity and the way your mind works, and you're not always in that perfect state of mind to make the right choices.
Right.
So I get that part. But this whole I did it for you, no, you did it late in the game. Okay, you didn't do it for her. You shouldn't even be doing it for her. You should be doing it for yourself, as far as telling the truth, because it's the right thing to do. And when you came in there, and you said, "Well, I did it for you." It's like, and then she's like, she said something. He was like, "Well, I can see how you thought that way." And I'm like, "Bro, you didn't even understand like what you did wrong in the first place." Like
The
I
thing with
mean,
Elena,
okay,
though, would
here's
you
the
have
thing.
gone a chance to winners though? Would you have gone a chance as a winners and done what Elena did, or would you stayed at home and mind the business that pays you?
No, but that's the thing though. Like, yeah, I thought it was out of no, I thought it was out of pocket that she came there at the last minute and was going to say something. I thought that was stupid. But
Yeah,
here's the thing: she hasn't been happy for a very long time. Okay, she hasn't been happy with him for. I remember, I think Elena wanted to go on a business trip. Well, she had a trip that she wanted to go on to, and she wanted to invite Nate, but Nate was too busy getting, his head gassed up by money and everything like that. And this is some time to, spend some quality time while she's working and stuff. But he was like, I don't exactly remember what he said, but he didn't want to go. Okay. And then he made her feel like the bad guy when she was like, you do understand that, like, she's telling you this stuff, and I get it as a guy, whatever, it's a little bit of an ego boost or whatever, but you don't understand what she's doing is wrong. And he tried to turn it on her and make it seem like she was the bad guy. And this whole, okay, he lost his medical career and everything like that. Cool. I get it. That sucks. But we're not going to sit there and blame Elena for two grown ass men choices. we're not going to do that. I mean, it sucks. They fought, but it's not like Elena was like, "Well, you two got to fight over. You two got to fight to the death, and whoever wins gets me." It wasn't that sort of scenario. So we're not going to put Elena.
But it was because of her though
It
that
was
they fought.
because of her. Well, it was because of her. But I mean, did she ask them to do that?
I
Did
don't
she
think
ask
so.
them
No,
to
she
say,
didn't. No, she didn't. She didn't.
yeah?
She
So
didn't.
I mean, again, we're not going to sit there and put it. Here's the thing: in life, you have choices. Okay, you have choices, and how you react is going to be good or bad. You fought because of her. Okay, fine, but you had another choice. So why are we sitting there putting that choice of two grown men on her?
So let me ask you this then, really quick. Do you think that Nate should have told Devon who the CEO was?
No, I give him that much. I give
Because
him
it
that
was
much.
a job, man.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
job.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I give him that much. You know, he came and he told the truth, which was late in the game. But I understand his loyalty for not sitting there just selling a dude out. I mean, selling her out. So I give him that. But this whole, I mean, again, we can both agree that what he was doing, going behind his family's back to, because he was mad that Devon didn't want to give him a chance or he didn't like the ideas he was doing, was wrong. So I think we can both agree on that.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. So
yes.
okay, all right, we came to some understanding.
We get some understanding. I still
We
stand
came
10
to some
toes down for
understanding.
Nate Hastings, but we came to some understanding a little bit. We
Yeah.
did. We did. Because honestly, I feel like with him and Victoria, like at first when he was with Devon said, you still can't give up the name, can you? And I thought about it. I was like, why isn't Nate giving up the name? But I realized if he just gives up the name, it doesn't necessarily mean Devon's going to hire him back and he's going to be jobless. And now he's going to burn all bridges because
Yeah.
Victoria is the only bridge he has left, even though that's a shaky bridge. Because Victoria, like, you don't know when she's going to pull the rug out from under him. She'll do it to her baby daddy, Billy Abbott. She'll do it to anybody. But I get it. He didn't, this is all he had left. And he pretty much lost his family, which I think it can be repaired, but it's just going to take some time. But it was definitely a blow to see Elena left him because like he had just sacrificed it all and said, you know what, I don't want to be this man, and maybe I should be. And granted, you're right, he should have done it for himself, not for her. But he decided he was going to do it, and then just for her to come when he went to come back to the apartment, she goes, I'm going to Baltimore, Nate. I just and all the stuff she was doing, I was like, yeah, just get out of here, just go to Baltimore, get out.
Well, sometimes at the end of the day, you got to do what's right for you as far as your mental health. And she
Right.
was not happy with what he was doing for a very long time. What's good, Kenshin? She wasn't happy with what he was doing for a very long time. So why should she stay in a relationship that she wasn't happy with for a long time just because, okay, now he decided to do the right thing?
Right, right,
Like,
right.
good for you. You want a cookie or something? Oh, you did it for me? Like, this little too late, but whatever. And again, you should do it for yourself, not because you want to save your relationship.
Right.
At the end of the day, you got to look at yourself in the mirror.
I agree. I agree. And the thing is with Chase is that not Chase. I got distracted the name of the chat because I think Jordan Smith mixed with Chase. I'm reading the comments I'm talking to, but the thing about Nate is that I really do feel for him. And I guess I always feel for these characters because I know what it's like to do something that really just changes the trajectory of your life in such a way. And now he has to earn their forgiveness back almost, like Lily and Devon. And he put himself in that position. I will agree he put himself in that. But I could understand where he came from because he felt like he lost it all. When you feel like you've lost it all, it takes your mind to a different place. And you do some really stupid, like, even look at Chelsea when she was getting ready to look over the bridge, well, the ledge. She lost it all. She pretty much doesn't have Connor. Adam treats her like shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to curse out loud. Shizzle. Adam treats her like shizzle. And I mean, she has no friends in town. The only friend she had was Chloe, and Chloe's trying to get Sally back with Adam, the man who killed her daughter. So I said Chloe's a clown and every that counts. So she doesn't have nobody.
Wait, how is Chloe trying to get Sally back with Adam?
Well, it's not so well. She's really trying to get Sally back with Nick, but I feel like Chloe would be okay if she was Adam, even though she says Adam's the worst person that Sally could be with. But to me, like I said, Chloe working for Adam, even just working for the Newman, just not sit well with me. And this is why I feel like when Adam killed Delia. He never took Chloe seriously in all of this. It was always the Abbott and Billy. Their grief mattered. That feud mattered, but it was never about Chloe because now I'm looking at her. You're working for this man. Billy would never go work for Adam. Never. Under no circumstances would he ever do that. And what makes it worse is that Connor has Delia's eyes, literally, because they did an eye transplant after she died. And so it just, you know, yeah, yeah. So it doesn't sit well with me, that storyline. This doesn't sit well with me. So Chloe's a clown in my eyes. She's a clown. But, you know, for me, like I said, Chelsea doesn't really have anybody that's really having her back. So, you know, but not that she didn't do some things herself, but, you know.
Gotcha. Any other storylines that you find intriguing? And why not? Before we move on.
Okay, Diane. There's a vulnerability that Diane shows that's also a huge strength. Yeah. Hey, Devlin, we love you too. So I'm reading the comments and go back here. love you too. And there's a strength that Diane shows. It has so much. There's a vulnerability, but there's a strength that's there in her vulnerability when she's present. Because with Diane, I feel like she knows who she is. I feel like she deserves to be the next Mrs. Jack Abbott. That's a title I feel she's worthy of. Phyllis, not so much. But I can see Diane being the lady of the manor, of the Abbott manor. You know what I'm saying? So Diane, to me, and Tucker, I heard rumors that Kyle was Tucker's son, which I hope they don't do. I just hope they don't. We've been through enough attorney stuff with Kyle. There was one time we thought Kyle was Victor's son. You know, I'd rather not go there. You know, we thought Summer was Jack's daughter. So much stuff with those two. There's so many possibilities. Those two were almost related, and I'd rather just keep where their parents are at as they're at right now. So yeah.
Gotcha.
What about you? What are some storylines that you're enjoying besides some of those you say?
Now, with the whole Diane thing, at first I was like, all right, let me get this straight. You got these three grown ass women that have nothing else to do with their time. Like they don't have grandchildren or husbands or I don't know, a hotel that she should be running. No. Let's spend all our time on trying to get Diane out of town. And there was one point where Phyllis came, she to the ranch or whatever, and she was like, oh, she was crying. And I think Nikki was like, really? And she was smart. And I was like, these are two grown ass women that are grandwomen, that are grandmothers. And I'm just like, all three of y'all are having Diane live in your head rent free. I wasn't even really too invested into this story until Tucker came in. Because up until this point, I was like, this is just dumb. This is just stupid. And I'm like, where's your goal? You're gonna sit there and find some sort of truth or whatever, and what? Y'all just gonna like get a moving truck or whatever, and be like, all right, you can go back to Los Angeles, let Bo and the Beautiful deal with you. Like, what is the end game? It just seems so petty and so dumb. This stuff has, I guess, this went on for like maybe 20 years or whatever before I started watching this. And I'm like, really, Bose? Really?
And I don't think Phyllis realizes that if she causes the issue, Diane and Summer finds out, this affects Kyle and Harrison, which are Summer's husband and her stepson, her family. I don't think Phyllis understands that if Summer finds that out, now you're putting yourself in the outs with your own daughter. You're messing almost in a sense with like indirectly, not directly, indirectly with her marriage because that affects them. And it's like, I wonder if they really thought that through. And this is Nikki's granddaughter on top of that. Summer is Nikki's granddaughter. It's like, are they thinking about these things? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
So it's like Phyllis is so hell bent on revenge, but I know that's going to isolate Jack, isolate Summer, and Kyle Harrison from them in the end. So,
Yeah, you're right. All right, so let's move on to General Hospital.
Of course, everyone's talking about General Hospital with Jack.
Well, yeah, because, let's talk about that. So, I'm going to ask you first, what storylines are you liking so far?
Heather Weber. The return of Heather Weber.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. When Olivia was just like, I'm getting this feeling like, oh my God, someone's on my grave. I was like, the Benson her psychic is back. And the moment that happened, I was like, the thing about it is that unfortunately I knew Heather Weber was coming because I saw Lanikia's thumbnail that Heather Weber returned. I was like, You know, like, damn it, I didn't want to know that. So that took it away from me. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have guessed it was Heather Weber, at least not right away, so she was a different actress. But I was excited. And she used to play Pam on Bold and the Beautiful. So it's interesting to see this new Heather Weber, but I'm like, this is perfect because we got the whole Liz storyline with the Webbers, and this is a perfect time for Heather Weber to come back. I feel like because I got a feeling she's gonna play a part in that storyline, being that she was involved with Jeff Weber at one point in time. They have a son together, so I got a feeling that's gonna tie into something. But anyways, that was probably, I want to say, one of my favorite parts of the week. Pretty much, I want to say that much because no other part really stuck out to me with that. But what was yours?
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying the just the hook killer stuff in general, and um, it's funny because I was sitting there reading one of the things Alicia was saying as far as like more characters. Now I know, Angelique, she loves her characters, the more stories. Um, I'm
I
just
thought she was
like,
being sarcastic.
hmm? No,
I
no,
thought
no,
that was
no,
being
no,
sarcastic.
no,
Oh,
no,
you guys love them.
no,
Okay,
no.
okay.
She's being dead serious. No, no. You ask her. If you ask Angelique, she's being dead serious. My whole thing, I was like, yo, this hook killer needs to start cleaning some house, okay? Because you already got rid of Brando, which I'm gonna be honest, I really didn't care. Let's pick it up. Let's pick it up. I've
I
said
think
this,
Hooker on vacation. I guess he or she decided to get there in 2 weeks vacation.
yeah, for a week. Now that's one of the things that me, you, Brock, James, and a lot of other soap opera content creators can agree on. They got way too many characters. Need to cut the fat. Okay, just I needed to pick up more.
And they brought on Holly, which I'm not. I don't know. I'm not crazy about Holly. I'm not crazy about it.
I feel like it's for maybe the old school, maybe more old school people.
It's not even that because I remember Holly from back yonder, even when she first came on with Ethan, when Ethan was brought on, and her character just did nothing for me. I don't know what it was. It didn't do anything for me with Holly. It still doesn't. But that's all I said about Holly. That's all. But yeah, it didn't do nothing for me.
And the thing, one of the things that was really irritating me was this whole, oh, it was Anna did it, and it was like, so no one's gonna sit there and act like she doesn't have a twin. We're,
Yeah.
we're just we're just not gonna bring that up. And I felt like in that way, it's literally treating the audience like they're a bunch of idiots. Like we all don't know that she doesn't have a sister,
And you know
and
what?
no one.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
know
Go
I
ahead.
was going to suggest, and no one bothered to go to that first, second, third, or anything. Just yep, she did it. No, what was you gonna say?
See, that's the thing too. If they would have at least said, wait, Anna's on tape. Well, maybe it was her twin sister Alex. No, her twin sister Alex is dead. If they would at least would have said that, acknowledgement, at least acknowledgement. But the fact they're not acknowledging it means it must be Alex, or else that would have been the first step. Or that would have been the first thing to go to. I kind of noticed this was so right through the years, but I just felt like they should have acknowledged that first and said, "Wait, well, Anna does have a twin. No, it's impossible. Her twin is dead. Give us 2 seconds because Anna's twin was just on last year. It's not like it's been 10 years she's been on campus. She was just on last year, literally. So I mean, it's so crazy that no one is thinking about that. So it's almost as if they think we as fans don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, that's what I was. And when you was there saying crazy, you were being nice because I'm like, no, this is just straight up stupid. Okay, this is dumb, and you're treating the audience like we're a bunch of idiots. You know, I can see if you have somebody and they just started watching it. Most people in the chat have been watching this show for a very long time. So I'm
Right.
like, and that's what you're like, really? I don't know. That was like the one part that just kept pissing me off because I'm like, why?
Let me ask this: what did you think about the return of Liz's parents, the Weber parents?
It's going to be interesting because I've always looked at them like they were just the biggest scumbags of the earth. Because I'm like, your daughter has went through so much. Not a call, not a checkup. Hey, how you doing? They never really been there for her, in her life. And so I understood why when they started reaching out to Cam and Liz was bothered by that, I understood that. all the pain and the suffering and stuff like that that she went over, that she'd been through over the years, her parents were so busy saving the world and helping everyone else that she was an afterthought to them. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing that they're seeing them, but at the same time, I was just like, man, you people are a bunch of scumbags.
Because I mean, there's a lot of things I feel like the Webbers have to explain. With Jeff Webber specifically, where were you when Steve Millars was stabbed, got arrested? Where were you when Hayden was shot and killed? Why are you guys in Portia's house currently? A lot of questions. I recognize it was Portia's house from back then when Cyrus kept the house. I recognized it. I recognized it, said immediately. But there's a lot of questions they're gonna have to answer, and I'm starting to get this feeling Terry is intertwined their history some way. The fact that she's on this trip, she kept mentioning how Elizabeth's parents wouldn't recognize her because it's like little things like that I keep in my mind. Like it seemed like with Friday's episode when Britt was like, "Yeah, we have a patient. She's coming in from Darken prison, whatever. She should be here shortly." And I was like, "Why was that mentioned?" I thought about that in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah,
And then, of course, it was revealed later on that was Heather Weber.
yeah.
It's like those little details on soaps I never not pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? So I had wondered about that. And when it came in terms to, is Terry involved some way? Is Mary, it maybe Terry or Weber too? I don't know. So who knows?
Yes. And it's funny too, because when you listen to this and paid attention to the little things, that's what I actually started doing. Like you said that a while back, and I started doing that just with soap operas in general. So that's also kind of helped me out as far as like, DC sit there and think, okay, very, very interesting.
Because you know what too is that Dex, when him and Jocelyn were having like a 5-minute conversation about Jason, and I was like, why are they putting this in here? Like, what's going on that she's
Yeah, because
mentioning Jason?
exactly. 'Cause I thought it was really stupid. I mean, on top of the fact she was like, "Oh, well, Sonny's bad, this, that, and the third," and that's the usual BS that comes out of her mouth,
Right.
the hypocritical nonsense. But then she mentioned Jason. I was like, "Wow, sweetheart, that's quite a reach." Like, where? And the whole time I'm just like, you can realize that Jason thought for himself, right?
Right.
He wanted to choose Sonny and Carly over his family all the time. I think that was the one thing he's always pissed me off when he used to say that he loves Danny and Scout and this, that, and the third. I'm like, and how often are you there for them? Like seriously?
But see, that's what made me think that Dex might have a connection to Jason, because the fact that was mentioned, it was 5 minutes long, because people are saying, "Oh, Dex could be Sonny's son," but I feel like Sonny already has 10,000 kids, like Stefano Demira. I don't think they're going that route because they already did that with Dante with the undercover thing. So why are we doing this twice, right? So the fact that they had a 5-minute conversation about Jason, and I'm looking at things. Jason's the love of Carly's life. I don't care if she's with Drew. Jason's the love of her life. We all know that by now. GH, you're a true GH viewer. You know that Jason's the love of Carly's life. And then I'm looking at Jocelyn right now, and Jocelyn is Carly 2.0, and she's with this man who is working for Sonny, right? They're having this 5-minute long conversation about Jason. Jason is no longer here. Like, I'm just starting, is this like a second generation version of Carly and Jason? I feel like that we're actually seeing in front of our eyes. And I think there might be a connection to Jason, or maybe he could be the son of AJ. I'm really starting to think that, because why is Dex going so undercover for Michael? Why is he so in hell bent on this? Because it was just a job.
Yeah.
And Michael said, "You're done." Why wouldn't we just have left it alone? I'm pretty sure Michael sent the check in the mail. So, so like, why not leave it alone at that point? So I was like, there's something else there. There's something there that's personal for Dex.
Right. Now, what has been going on in GH? Because I feel like I had a thought about something else and then I lost it. And I'm just like, what else been going on in General Hospital? Oh, you had the whole Carly and what's good, bro? What's good, JNR? It took me a second to kind of get the name. So you got this whole Carly and Drew, and they're fighting to get Virginia's grave thing, and then in the end, they just throw her ashes somewhere else. I'm just like, so that was it. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's great that she had a storyline that didn't involve Sonny, but in the end, when she's like walking on the beach with Drew, just la 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 la, I was like, you do realize that there's a hook killer in Port Charles, right? While you're just taking a little romantic stroll on the beach, there's a hook killer in Port Charles, and I'm just like, it was so unnecessary.
Do you feel like it didn't do anything? Like it didn't move anything along that storyline with her and Drew? in
I mean,
in
it was some stuff was interesting. Learning more about Carly's past. Of course, I didn't like the whole retcon thing with Reese, so that definitely
Can you
takes away
explain
some
that?
point.
Was Reese a character on Canvas years later?
She was, yeah, she was
Or
with
that was the
Sonny.
same Reese from Jacksonville?
Yeah, she was with
Okay.
Sonny, and Jason lost his memory. Then he got it back towards the end, and he came in. He saved the day, and I don't remember if I think Reese died. But I do remember that she was on the show and she wanted revenge
Mhm.
on Carly. So this whole retcon thing, again, like we're dumb, it just pisses me off.
See, I
Reese is
didn't know
already
that.
on the show. I just, oh God, that's
I
so
didn't know
annoying.
that. I didn't know that they retconned it because the Jacksonville storyline, to be honest, I figured it was going to be Carly's Nixon Falls kind of storyline, like her own little adventure. It kind of got a little flat. It was getting somewhere. We were getting new sets, which we're going to see these sets again in 6 months in a new storyline. So just keep those in your mind. Keep them in your mind, all right? You don't see a set for a while. It's going to come back up 6 months later as a new set. It's like with Liz's parents' house. They need to give Portia a check. I live in Portia's house. but, you know, to me, I just felt like there was so much more that could done that storyline. And it's weird that your daughter was a target of serial killing. You're just chilling in Jacksonville, and you just hear Bobby reminiscing, and it doesn't seem like the Carly we know. But I guess they don't want her intertwined. The storyline has to do with Sonny. So I get it. It was kind of tough because they had to make Jocelyn a part of this for the Dex thing to move that along. But at the same time, they didn't want Carly be enmeshed in storyline had to do with Sonny. And I like Drew for I like Drew for Carly. And people are saying that they think that he's going to be mad that she kept the secret about Willow, which I don't know why, because I don't I don't really feel like that really like it affects Drew, but I don't think that really affects Drew, if you know what I mean. At the same time. So anyways, yeah.
Yeah, no, now this whole now this brings it to this whole Willow and Michael and TJ. I was hearing on James' show today that people are just like, well, Willow's gonna sit there and hook up with TJ. I was like, but she's gonna be dead though. Like, no one mentioned the fact that she's on stage 3 at this point. I, and again, for me personally, I'm just like, well, Michael has a curse. Like Michael and Maxie kind of have a curse as far as whoever gets with them eventually are dead.
Yep.
Except for Sasha right now, but for the most part, they're usually dead.
Right.
Um, I'm. See, here's the thing. I'm past the point of being annoyed that Willow's lying because it is kind of emotional. Like whenever you sit there and deal with a storyline that involves cancer,
Mm-hmm.
either you know somebody or you've been directly affected by it in some sort of way. So it's kind of emotional in a sense, if that makes sense.
No, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, I can understand why Willow's doing it, but being that you have your child involved, I think it's important to be honest. And now Nina is like, thinking that her and TJ have an affair, and she's like, trying to strong arm TJ. And I'm like, TJ is Curse's nephew. Your only friend, the only one of the only few friends you have in town. You're strong arming his nephew. It's like Nina, come on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. So it's like when I saw that, and I'm like, even if she is having an affair with TJ, and that's gonna sound weird, but that's not really affecting her parenting. What does that matter to Nina? If that makes
yeah.
sense. If I'm just keeping it real, you
No, no,
know,
you're right.
if that's not really affecting them, like why is it Rachel need to and then strong arm TJ about it? Like,
Because you know how petty Nina could be.
right, right.
So I come on, let's just be real.
And I think I
Just
don't
be
think
real.
they're looking for another entrance into Wiley's life. Like I said, I understand that Wiley's the only living relative that she has left, but this was just not the way to go about it, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree. But they got to sit there and give Nina something. They,
Yeah.
they, they got to give her something extra because between that being with Sonny and rocking with Ava, which listen, their friendship is interesting given their
Why? Yeah.
history,
Because of
given their
Avery.
history. Yeah, yeah, because of Avery and just the whole baby thing and kidnapping her and taking her to Canada or whatever else she took her at. Um,
I feel like that's because it's a recasting. I feel like if it was still Michelle Stafford, because I feel like when they bring in a recasting role, it's almost like whatever their character did in the last actor or actress who portrayed them, it's like it didn't happen. It's like the writers developed amnesia, like that didn't happen, like that was in a past life.
yes, yes, and this is where we get to Ava and Nick and what's good, Nate. Ava and Nick and Esme and stuff like that. So what do you think of that storyline with Victor? Like, what are your thoughts are?
um, when it comes to Victor telling Nicholas to divorce his wife, I just feel like I get you being a patriarch, but it's just like that doesn't make no sense to me. Telling Nicholas to divorce Ava, and I don't because he wants Ava off for himself. Victor, I can't understand him as a villain at times. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't make no sense. It's giving Mr. Sheffield from the nanny still. Mr. Sheffield. But um I wish Tal Pangos was playing Victor. I really would, because I feel like I would actually feel afraid of Victor. But
Yeah.
okay, Sierra says Victor is really carrying GH. You think so? You think so? But honestly, like I said, Victor and Ava, like, okay, like Nicholas locking Esme up. I guess, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like we're gonna see this is what I'm thinking is gonna happen. And I brought this up on 10th Floor GH earlier today in their chat. I think Esme will have premature labor, but she will switch her babies with Willow's, and Willow will think her baby died as a result of her neglect. And so the baby Quartermain will be raised across town as a Cassadine in a war between Esme and Nicholas and Victor.
So you,
And
you feeling the baby switch coming on?
yeah,
Pretty
because
much.
when people are pregnant at the same time, it's always a baby switch. It's almost like when Brooklyn came to town pregnant and Maxie was pregnant. I was like, ooh, something's gonna happen there. Even though Brooklyn was really not really pregnant. But once again, two people were still pregnant in town. So some kind of swap was going on, which there was. Eventually, I mean, Brooklyn wasn't pregnant, but she was like, listen, like, how about I raise your baby for you, Maxie? Like, this is a perfect opportunity that ELQ shared. So it was always like that. So I definitely see that coming. And I feel like the writers are doing a great job as putting their storylines so far apart that we don't even see that coming. But I know the breadcrumbs are soaps, so I see it coming.
Go. Jesus, what else is going on with GH? I mean, we've talked about most of it. I mean, Cam, at this point, we already know that Josh is going to be with Dax. It's just we're just counting it down at this point.
Feel bad for
Um,
him. I don't feel bad for Cam. He's a good man.
I do too, especially when he was sitting there talking to Finn about, the way that he should be sitting there treating Liz and just really dropping those jewels. I thought that was really good. And I'm also just like, the fact that I feel like he's talking to a grown man, somebody who's older than him, that should kind of understand like the way to move with as far as like relationships and women and stuff like that. I was like, bro, this guy's like 19. He's not there schooling you on your relationship that you're supposed to know about. All right, bro, sure.
But thinking, how much does Cameron really, really know if he can't even maintain hold down his own relationship?
Yes, that's true. That's true, but that's true. I give you that. I give you that. I give you that. But it wasn't insightful though. You gotta admit what he was saying as far as underestimating Liz and not treating her like a victim because not putting her back to that point where at one point she was a victim.
Right.
So like I don't know, it resonated with me. I'll say that.
I mean, and the thing is too with Cody is that when he was looking at those jewels when he was with Liz, not Liz, Britt, the way he was looking at them like, ooh, that's my rent money right there. Like, what we gonna do with those jewels?
You
That's
need
my
to let
best
it go.
thought.
You remember when he was sitting there holding on to it and she looked at him like, yo, you gonna let this go? Like
Right.
what's good?
And he said that diamond scratching in Samir. I wonder if that's real because I want to try that one of these days just to see. I might have learned something from GH. I
Yeah.
know scratching. I was like, I'm wondering that, but yeah.
I've heard that though. I've heard that from other shows, like from like other things or whatever. That might be real. Might be real. I don't know. I guess when I run across something like that, we'll find out.
I think that's everybody on GH, wasn't it? I mean, what's that? I think it was everybody in GH.
I mean, we didn't talk about Sonny and stuff, but I don't remember him really doing much of
What
anything.
did he do this week?
That's what I was like. And it was cool that we had Miss Wu there, but she was there for like maybe one scene or two, and then she was just gone.
You was on this week?
Yeah, she was talking to Cody. She was talking to Cody about doing another game, and then Matt came over, and Matt was pretty much like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then she just kind of scurried on away, and then we just didn't see her.
You know, Ms. Wu's reminding me of. I don't know if you remember back in the day when they had those arcade games and you would play them, and then there would always be a villain that would pop up out of the bushes and then like do a little frazzle like in the Pokemon games and then go back in the
Yes,
bushes. That's Ms.
yes.
Wu, pretty much. That's what she reminds me. She doesn't really do
You
anything.
just you just reduced her down to a Pokemon character. That is amazing. That is amazing right there.
That's what Ms. Wu was reminding me of these days because she's really just not doing anything. She doesn't really, in my opinion, can contribute anything really to these storylines.
And isn't that kind of a shame though? Because when she first came into town, it was like, oh, I personally loved every scene that she was in.
I did too.
And I feel like this is one of those things. It's like if you keep doing this, you're gonna underutilize the character. Now at this point, it's already established that Curtis Club is pretty much Miss Wu's club.
Right.
We all know that at this point, except for Curtis.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to know that yet. He hasn't seem to grasp that yet.
Yeah. So I feel like they need to do more with Miss Wu. I'm not a fan of Brad, but like get him in there somewhere because we haven't seen Brad in like.
Because that's where I thought this was going. That Brad was going to
Yeah.
be in a compromised position, and as he's trying to rebuild to himself, but we haven't seen that. We're getting more of Cody and Britt, and I don't really care if Cody is Mac's son. I'm guessing he's not because it seems like everyone's okay. When everyone's okay with the paternity turning out a certain way, that's usually not the way it is. That's what I've come to see. It's usually not the way it is, and I don't really care at this point if Cody is Mac's son or not, or Maxie's quasi brother, as he would say, whatever.
Now, do you like Cody as a character? Or are you just like,
I actually don't have an issue with Cody. I just feel like he could be better utilized in another storyline in another type of way. I mean, him with Britt is definitely trying too hard, and that's the thing too. It's like you've got to write well for this character, and write from in a way we could connect to. Because this is when nobody's connecting with this Britt storyline, and I'm sure Chris Van Nant and Dan O'Connor got to be seeing this on Twitter that no one's really connected. I'm not on Twitter, but I could just imagine they're saying the same thing. If our YouTube comments are any indication of that, I feel like they could write well from like when he was on One Life to Live, when the actor was on One Life to Live, and he was playing Jessica's boyfriend and stuff like that, and Kim Andrews and all those storylines. It worked. It worked. So I don't even think necessarily that it's Cody. It's just the way they're writing for him. That's why I always
yeah,
like it's an actor. I always think it's the way they're writing for him, honestly.
yes. Now, how do you pronounce the name? Deh. How do you pronounce that name?
I think it's Devalin. Is that Devalin?
Okay, DeValin. So, do you think? Yeah, DeValin asked guys, do you think Cody is Mac's son? Now you're gonna say no. I'm gonna say yes, just because I want to play devil's advocate. Um, why not at this point? Why not? Why not? I think that's pretty much all of GH. I mean, there was the trainer stuff with how was his name? Trina with Rory. Rory sleeping on the floor. Trina sitting there thinking about Spencer. Oh, and then of course we had Cyrus. I don't know how long you've been off and on watching it, but Cyrus is protecting Spencer, and they got some little thing going on. It's good to see Cyrus back. I'll say that.
It is.
It's really good to see Cyrus back.
It is. It is. I think that's the one good thing because, like I said, these past 2 weeks, I have, me, I always watch GH and Days. Those are two shows that never get missed by no matter where I am in the world. Those two shows, but I like that Cyrus was brought back, and just seeing how this, because Cyrus, it's just the way they write for him. I can really connect with this storyline. So let me ask you this then, just to get off on a tangent really quickly, is with Cody, what storyline do you feel like he would have been better suited for besides this Britt thing and maybe this Max storyline? Which storyline do you think would have been like if you had to write a storyline for him, how would that look? That's kind of a long-winded question.
No, Nikisha, we're not gonna
Oh, yeah, I
gloss
saw
over
Nikisha's
Trina.
comment too. She's like, we're just glossing over treated out.
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, this is another one of those things where I feel like you just have way too many characters. You got Dex, you got Rory, you got Cody, and it's like I feel like more people like Dex between the two. Personally, that's when I look at the chat and stuff like that, I feel like people like more Dex than Cody. So like, I can't even answer that question. Um, but since Nikisha did sit there and talk about Trina, since we did, pretty much kind of gloss over her, what do you think about our storyline so far?
I did see a scene between her and Rory this week. Every time I hear the name Rory, I think of Rory the Lion from PBS. But when I did see her scenes with Rory this week, you know, birds of a
just,
feather
be,
flock together,
just be honest.
and Trina and Jocelyn like they're bad boys, and they will find out that it's not so. The grass isn't so greener on the other side. You know, I'm ready for the day that Trina comes into contact with Helena Cassadine, and I want to know if she's still going to be in love with Spencer. Then I'm waiting for that day. I'm waiting for Helena Cassadine to get her in the dungeon real good. And let's see if you still want. Let's see if you still want to marry the Cassadine heir. Let's see that. Because Trina's living in a fairy tale world. I feel like a lot of times. I feel she's living in a fairy tale world. Now Jocelyn is a little more realistic. I think she knows she's getting herself into. She knows what it is. He just said, I didn't like those scenes for real. Yeah, it felt a little awkward with her and Rory. A little awkward in those scenes. Okay, so what did you think about it, Albert? What did you think?
Um, Not much. I mean, I, here's the thing. It's obvious that Trina doesn't like Rory, and I feel like she's trying to push herself to like Rory because of everything that went on with Spencer. Oh, we can't be friends because I don't even remember the reason why. Um, but she snuck there kissing. At first she didn't even want to go to the comic book convention, but I'm just like, all right, if you don't want to go, just say you don't want to go. Oh, it's fine. It's sort of art, so I'll go. And then she gets there. Then she starts making out with Rory. Then she's sitting there thinking of Spencer. And, she got introduced and they're sleeping on the floor. Dude, how much she must have paid for that hotel and her. You got this dude sleeping on the like, come on, seriously? You
Yeah,
gave us sit there and do like a
grown. You got me
back to
sitting on the
back thing?
floor. You got me sitting on the floor, both grown. We were already doing kissing around the bed. I don't understand.
I'm like, yo, have some self control. It's not that hard. Like for real.
Got to sleep on the floor. I didn't get that.
I understand it from a traditional standpoint, but I'm just like, no. I'm a grown ass man. I'm not sleeping on no
I'm
goddamn
pretty
floor. What's
sure
the matter with
Rory went half on the bill, so got half on the side of the bed.
you? For real.
Gosh.
All right. So let's get into days. Because days was pretty good this week. I would sit there and say days was pretty good. I'm so glad when I first started doing these reviews that people was like, yo, you should get on days and start watching days because
Yeah, I saw Nikisha's comment. He was on a cot, not the floor. He was fine. Nikisha, those cots can still hurt the back a little bit. So, poor Rory.
I mean he was
He went
he
half
was
of the hotel bill and he's sleeping on a cot.
the man was practically sleeping on the floor. Okay? I'm just gonna put it out there. He was practically sleeping on the floor. I
Angelique's
know.
showing it now. It was a cot. Okay.
Okay, he was sleeping on the cot. So let's get into days. We're gonna start off with Kristen and this plan that I feel is just beneath her. Oh, I'm gonna sit there and blackmail Brady into being with me, and we're gonna sit there and I'm just
Yeah,
reading the
so thanks for
comment.
giving Peter a little more time.
But I feel like this is just so beneath her. Like I feel listen, I rock with Kristen. I think she's a queen. She shouldn't have to be sitting there blackmailing some man into being with her. And then you're gonna move into John's house. Oh no, there's not gonna cause suspicion there. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What is this? This is so dumb. I love Kristen, but I'm like, this is just beneath her.
And the thing about it I don't get about Kristen is like, and I think I've said this before, is like I feel like it's one thing if she blackmailed Brady, I won't say Brady into full custody of Rachel, but to say, oh, we're gonna be together. Like, you don't think he's resenting you in the meanwhile in the process? Like, he's just doing this until Marlena and them get better. And then I guess until Kristen can figure out her next plot. And it's like, Kristen, like, come on. Like, I would have loved to have seen her. Storylines like these, I really hate it because it just feels so pathetic. And I feel like we're not in the 90s or 2000 anymore. I think we moved past this level of patheticism. That's a word. Pathetic.
Sexism, okay.
That's a word. You know, I feel like we moved past this level of being pathetic. And, you know, to me, I just feel like, and now it's, well, Gabby kind of found out about Shin's plan, but, you know, it didn't backfire. So Kristen's still able to go over the plan and get back to Brady. But it's like seeing a man who doesn't want you. And granted, this is not Kristen's fault because this is the fault of Victor Kiriakis, who made her think her daughter was dead. And so that's why I didn't say I'm still sympathizing with delusional people, but I sympathize a little bit with Kristen because that Baxter alone. But I just felt like she should have used it to get custody of her daughter, not to get back with Brady. That's how I felt.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I would have rocked with that part. I would have rocked with that part because I do think that she should have a role in her daughter's life.
Right.
Even though that she does some very off the wall stuff, but she is Rachel's mother. She should have a whole thing. And I'm like, maybe if she didn't want to be with him, well, I mean, okay, like if she wanted to be like, hey, you know what, just out of spite for everything that you've been doing so far, I want you to break up with Chloe. Not necessarily we need to be family, but just to out of spite because we can already see that Chloe is going to wind up being with Stefan. That's something that they seem like they want to do. But we didn't need to sit there and play down Kristen in order to do it.
I agree with
you. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And I think that would have been a lot better too if had they done it that way. Because for me, it's like I don't necessarily think Brady's gonna fall back in love with her. And it was really weird to me that during the custody hearing that they had so much to say about Kristen when Chloe had left Brady because he had a drug addiction, and then she said he was getting abusive. This was back in 11. But once again, when they have a recasting character, like everything the character did in the past didn't happen. It's like we have amnesia. It was a different actor that played Brady. So the actor that plays Rex used to play Brady back in the day.
Oh,
right.
okay.
So he was the original Brady. Well, the original grown-up Brady. And so he was the Brady that Chloe had left to get away from, that was abusive, that was on drugs. And so, but Kristen is the monster here. So, what are you gonna
do? Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Now we got Wendy Shinbag. We got Trip. We got Joey. We got this love triangle. And I'm just like, I thought we squashed that in Beyond Salem. Because in the end of Beyond Salem, she was like, listen, I'm good. I don't want to sit there and kind of cause a rift between you two. And then they get back to regular days and it's just like, oh, they're at it again. Like, like really? So we just got amnesia. We just want to act like Beyond Salem didn't happen. Like, okay.
They did acknowledge it, though, Beyond Salem. They did acknowledge it, though.
No, they did. But I'm just like, why are we doing this again for?
Right.
Why are we doing this again? Of course, you got Wendy and you got Johnny, and I feel like Johnny and Wendy may want to being together. So I guess we're gonna have a. Well, what happens when you have like three characters that like one character? What do you call it at the point? Like,
yeah, it's not a love triangle, and it's also not a love quadrangle because a love quadrangle is when two characters like each other, two characters like each other, and then there's also the other two who like to swap. So it's more of a. It's not a love quadrangle. I don't know what that's called. A triple threat. That's what it's called in WWE. Triple threat.
We're gonna have to come up with something. We're gonna have to come up with something next time we do this. We have to come up with something.
Do you like the character Wendy Shin though? Do you like her?
I actually do like her. I mean, I thought it was kind of stupid that the way she just walked in Johnny's house, like oh, I'm here to sit there and see Stefan, and she just walked on this man's house. I was like, yeah, this chicken lost her goddamn mind. Like, are you serious?
The place.
I'm like, yo,
and why Clyde Weston broke in. There's clearly no good security over there.
So I mean, I think there's something between. I can see something between her and Johnny.
Right.
I can see something between that.
The
Now
kid
we
has
got
a
this
thruple.
whole yeah. Now we got this whole Paulina thing. What's it called?
A thruple? But a thruple is when three people are all together. This is three people wanted one person on Akeisha.
Yeah, yeah. No, I read that. That's what I was like. I didn't know what that said. Yeah. So now we got Paulina. We got Sloane, aka Mrs. Scumbag. And we got Stephanie, and we got Chad. We got this whole thing going on. So, what do you think about this whole blackmail storyline with Alex thrown in there? Because why not?
I think this is actually one of the best storylines on Days right now. It's unique. It's very, very different. And I feel like I don't even know where this is going. And they still haven't said Chanel's secret, which I think the writers, while this was filming, they were taking the time to figure out what they wanted the secret to be. It's obvious, but I like it because I don't know where this is going. And to me, like even with Sloane, they clearly just made her part of the cast and integrated her nicely in. And I want to know first of all how she got the information. What is Chanel's secret? And like, what was it so bad that Chanel did? Because Lonnie just killed somebody. So what was it that she did? Did she sexually assault somebody? Like what was it? So, but I honestly like this storyline, and I knew when they gave her the fake cash that was stupid. But Chad was willing. Chad should have pulled out his checkbook from the beginning. But like I don't know why Steph didn't take that, but she didn't want to. But I know it's a really interesting story. And then Leo Stark is in the storyline too, because I was working
Yes,
with Paulina. Um,
yes.
which is I think that's the writer's way of humanizing him now. It's the way of humanizing him, making him see like he's a better person. So, what are your thoughts on this?
No, no, no. I agree. I'm really liking the storyline. With Stephanie has this chick has gotten on my nerves. With this whole Alex thing back and forth because in the beginning I was like, Alex, he kept just pushing and pushing and pushing. I was like, bro, it's 2022. There's movements against stuff like this of what you're doing.
Right.
But then at some point, Stephanie was like, hey, maybe you could sit there and go out for some drinks. And then she was flipping it back and she's with Paulina. And my whole thing is like, listen, this was out your depth from start. Your job was to sit there and promote her campaign and everything like that, not dealing with blackmailers and stuff. Now you having this woman sitting there looking stupid, when Sloan comes to the office like, hey, so we good, right? And Paulina's like, no, 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 my girl, she got this. Now you made her look stupid. She's gonna fire you. She's gonna sit there and make sure your business is going to practically be a black hole. And I'm like, it's great because you get to sit there. It's
I
one of
don't
those
think.
things.
Go
No,
ahead.
I
Sorry.
was gonna say that it's one of those things where it's like, if you learn anything from this, is to know your limits. If you
Yeah.
can't do something, just say you can't do it or this is out of my depth. Because
Right.
otherwise, you end up looking like a fool, like Stephanie.
Right. I agree because the thing is too is that when it comes down to, I actually didn't even think that Paulina was going to fire Stephanie. I really didn't. It's only because she knew the secret about Chanel. That's why I didn't think Paulina was gonna fire her. She was gonna try to make it work. But when she's like, "You're fired," I was like, "Oh crap! Okay, I didn't see that coming."
With
You know,
extreme prejudice. Don't forget that part. With extreme
with
prejudice.
extreme prejudice. I
Yes,
love
yeah,
that.
it's,
It was so regal with extreme prejudice. You know, Stephanie's like she's got her priorities messed up. She's dealing with men that have dealt with her cousins. Chad, who was married to Abigail, and then Alex, who was with Allie, who is technically Stephanie's first cousin once removed because Sammy is her cousin, so that's her cousin's daughter. And then obviously through Abigail, who is her direct first generation cousin. Which I'm waiting for the day that Steve and Jennifer and Jack find out that Chad has been dealing with Stephanie. That's gonna be interesting because they're direct cousins. Well, I don't know if the show even like that's impactful enough to even mention that. So we'll see on that. But honestly, like I said, I think the storyline has actually been really well played, and I'm thinking that Leo will probably help Paulina get the information from Sloan. I think Leo will actually be the one to do it.
yes. So, before we get any further, how about we sit there and start going through some chats?
Yes, yes. Let's go through. We got a whole bunch. Where do you want to start?
Yes.
Okay, let me start off. We got a bunch. We got a bunch. Where do you want to go back? How far back you want to go?
How about we start from where we are right now and then just move up?
Move on up. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. All right. So we got. You want to start off? I should start off.
Shakira says Sonny got a big mouth. Told Allie she Chanel and Alex in a threesome. Oh, what's good, Spider Quake? Um, yeah, I felt like it was unnecessary with Sonny being like, "Oh, so did you have a threesome with my cousin or my brother?" I'm like, why? Why was that necessary?
Well, I guess it's because he was being protective of Allie, because Allie's like his little sister, because it's Will's little sister. So it's like he felt this protectiveness, and he was shocked that Alex would even go there. And I do believe that Alex will sabotage Sonny's marriage to Will, and so I see it coming from a mile away. But yeah,
It says Alex is living the dream, running a big company, sleeping with easy. I'm not gonna say that, and looking good doing it.
that's true.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Lisa says Alex is a player. Yeah, I mean, at this point, he started off being a player. Um,
Lisa says she doesn't like Alex, and Double C
yeah,
says I love Alex. He's fun. I agree. Um, let's see here. Has Denise Richards made her return to Days yet? So Monique Abrams says Denise Richards on B&B, not Days, guys. B&B.
and she did. I don't remember. Well, I know you haven't watched it this week. I don't know if she came back this week. I know that Kimberly Brown is going to be celebrating her 30 years or whatever on the show on B&B. I
She's done
think
what?
so. So, which is a long time. When was the last time you actually watched B&B?
The last time I watched it was um
Wow, you really got to think about that. Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's been like I know it's been like a week or two. It was the episode after they revealed that Thomas was the one who called CPS, I think.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't seen it since.
Okay.
But every time I don't watch, that's when something good happens. Apparently a mannequin came back this week.
Yeah, that happened, and you know, because Hope saw it. I guess she was like walking somewhere and she saw it, and she got freaked out. And Thomas was like, "No, no, no, no! Somebody from upstairs. I mean, somebody from downstairs brought it upstairs. I'm not that guy anymore. You believe me, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're not that guy." And I'm just like, "Yeah, but why isn't that thing not like burnt or destroyed or
Right.
crushed or anything?" Um, Spider Quick says, "I've never seen Olivia scream when she saw Heather, who you don't know, or I don't know, is she injected by Olivia? I
She
don't know."
injected LSD to she injected LSD to Olivia. That's what he's saying.
Oh,
I
okay.
never seen, well, honestly, I've seen Olivia scream like that during the One Like to Live days on GH. She was screaming like that a lot, and she can scream. But you
Hmm.
know, I liked it. It was good. It was soapy. That.
Yes. It says Gabby gets the memories back. Shakira says Gabby gets the memories back on her wedding day. Yeah, with Shen, when Dr. Rove told before he stuck that needle in her. Yeah. I mean, I felt like that was just so convenient. Like,
It was.
her finding out all this stuff just for her to sit there. Boop. Oh, I don't remember now. Really,
Yeah.
Gabby? You don't believe it? Oh, okay. All right, sure.
My thing is, how did Shin think this was going to work out? Because like, Gabby doesn't really want you at the end of the day, you know. And with Shin, I got to give him credit. With the difference of him and Kristen, he's going got it a lot more smoother. And Gabby and him actually have like Gabby actually enjoys being with him. That's the difference. So it wasn't that hard. He just had to get Stefan removed out of the picture. Whereas with Kristen, Brady doesn't like you at this point. So it's like
Yeah.
you get Chloe removed, he still doesn't like you. Doesn't change his back. Doesn't like you. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like when Chad pushed Gwen to the curb. My poor Gwen. You know she deserved better. She was going through a lot at the time. Poor Gwen. She's going through a lot. You know,
Or Gwen. This is my guy right there. This is my guy right there. I
because
mean, his delusional characters.
I gotta say
Uh,
this. You know, I appreciated Jack standing up for Gwen, saying, "Xander, you can't work here because of Gwen." It's like you finally looking out for your daughter. I was like, "This is what I'm talking about. You look out."
yeah, I give him that. I do. I give him that. My thing with B&B. Oh, Nikisha, my thing with B&B is that won't let Thomas go for a villain. I would like if he didn't feel guilty, if he was actively trying to destroy Hope's marriage. Yeah, I mean, there's no point in going like half tilt at this point. And I don't know a lot of people. there's a lot of people that's not happy that Thomas is backsliding because apparently he was like just a nut job, and he's gotten better over time. But I do see Nikisha's point. I remember Samuel was saying the same thing. He was like, just let him be a full villain. What is with this halfway thing? But I think it's maybe a slow transition, because first he breaks up on Ridge and Brooklyn. I mean Ridge and Brook. See, this is what happens when you have
Yeah.
four soap
Yeah,
operas.
right. You're gonna get
Um,
confused.
you got that going on, and then he's starting to have this whole thing where he's starting to like Hope again, or he's starting to have feelings for her because Paris, the moron that she is, was like, "You think that Thomas is hot, don't you? Yeah, yeah, you do." And I'm just like, Paris, why are you even still on the show for
Yeah,
anymore?
Paris had so much promise in the beginning. She had so much promise. I just, you know,
I no, trust me, I know. Because there was one point I used to watch it, and I used to be like, "Oh man, I love Paris. She's so beautiful, and she can sing and stuff like that." And then I started seeing it. I was like, "Wow, this character is trash." Shakira writes, "EJ saw three clowns." Yes, she did. But three clowns or two? Was it three?
three. Ava, Chad, and then his mom, Susan.
You're right. Cool. Valerie's in the chat. What's good, Valerie? Nikisha writes, they will probably bring his brain tumor thing back and say he wasn't to blame for his actions. Yeah, that damn brain tumor, huh? Franco.
Well, Heather Weber's back now, so now we can finally see her react to Franco's death.
Yeah.
A year later. That's why I feel like she's going to be involved in that Weber storyline some way, considering the fact that Elizabeth is dating her son, well, was married to her son Franco. So, and plus she had his, son with Jeff Weber. So she's gonna. I feel like she has to be intertwined in that, or else it's a missed opportunity because we need to see her react to Franco's death. It's about time.
You wanna go with the chat?
Okay, let's go here. Okay, we got Nathan Banks saying the Logan women are poisonous. Angelique says, "Hey Valerie, hey Valerie, hey all. We see you, Valerie, we see you." And let's see here. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit because I think that's most of them. Let's scroll up a little bit. We got Nikisha mentioning the thruple. Shakira Pickens says Stephanie is gonna get a wrath from Paulina. That is true. That's true. Like I said, I was shocked because I thought that because she knew things that she wouldn't have done it. George says, "Get along, gang." Goodbye to Valen. Okay, we talk about Denise Richards. Ethel says the end game is Gabby and Stefan, which is super true. They are end game. They are end game couple. All right, let's see here. George says Kristen is like Miss Piggy frolicking over Kermit. Nikisha says I'm trying with days, but every time they show Stefan, I just want Johnny Zakara. Well, you'll get used to it, Nikisha. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take some time.
I will sit there and agree with that. When I first saw him as Jake, I was like, "Come on now, that's Johnny. Let's stop doing that. That's Johnny. Y'all just messing around with me. Why y'all doing that for?"
Johnny's
Um, Shakira says, do y'all think Ava's dreaming of Charlie or is it real?" Bringing Charlie back. What are your thoughts?
that was a twist I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
And I'm happy because right after I watched episode Days, I logged into my Soap Sanctuary YouTube account and I saw your thumbnail. So I'm glad I didn't see that prior about Charlie, or I was like, but when Charlie came back, oh God, I don't know if I can even say this. I don't know if I can say this about Charlie, but
We can abbreviate words.
On the show.
Charlie's what?
I feel like Charlie should have stayed on the show.
You know that certain. From what I heard EJ kind of did the R word at some point. Ava did the R word with Steve. So it's kind of it's a
Like a
balance.
double standard.
No, I mean it's not even a double standard. It's just like it's a tough one. It's a real tough one because even back in the day, you know about Todd, what Todd did.
Right.
Same thing with Luke. What Luke did, and of course
and
he's held.
Kayla.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, Jack and Kayla.
Yeah, Jack did that to Kayla back in the 70s on Days.
Yeah. Um, Jakara says Stephanie didn't know what she was doing. No, yeah, she did not know what she was doing. Valerie writes, I haven't watched GH Fridays.
Let me say
Um,
this real quick. Let me just say this when it comes to Charlie. Like the reason why I feel like you should stay on, with that stuff aside, like with let's say the alley thing didn't exist and it was consensual, right? That character to me had a lot of promise. I saw it in the actor, um, exploring more his relationship with Ava, maybe his rivalry with Trip. Um, but I thought it was pretty good. They brought him back. What did you think about it though, Al? What did you think about him being brought back on Fridays or
I
so?
was shocked. I was like, because at first I was like, okay, maybe this is a Halloween thing. Because
That's
from
right.
what I from what I've heard, and I don't know how true this is, so take my words with a grain of salt. But if it was Halloween, they always sit there and say, Halloween is the one day of the year where I guess the dead are allowed to, roam the earth. So I
Right.
don't know if they were going for a supernatural thing, but I will sit there and agree. But I don't know. I just felt like I was like once you commit that, once Charlie committed that, I was like, I don't know if they're gonna keep him. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be kind of tough. I mean, it's not it's hard to sit there and say it's a character that you can redeem. You know, it's very difficult. Like there was a lot of
But they
people
kept
that
Stefan.
that's true, but I also like with Franco. We'll go with Franco and the whole Michael thing. Like granted, he sent that guy after Michael, and he didn't sit there and say, "Oh, I just want you to scare him." He did something else. The act was still there, and I just felt like a lot of people. There was people that just could not get over that. They couldn't with Franco. Why do you have that look, sir?
You know, he sent the guy to scare Michael essentially. Now, all right, I'm not gonna win this.
We gonna go with semantics now? That's what we're doing.
He sent the guy to technically scare Michael, and the guy decided to take it upon himself to do his own thing when he approached Michael's cell. I honestly thought they were going to do that storyline with Spencer to get Trina to fall in love with him some more. That's what I had thought initially, but I don't think that they would do it now. I feel like it's too sensitive.
Yeah.
I don't think they would do it.
You want to go into a chat? Or you want me to
All right, I'll hop on in. It says here they
start?
redeemed
Start
genetic.
from Lisa. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, where do you want me to start from? From Lisa?
Lisa. Yeah.
All right, so they just need to bring someone new for Thomas. And what happened to Lee? I thought Jack was coming back. Well, yeah, what did happen to Lee? Wasn't she on for like 2
Yeah.
seconds during Bill?
Well, the minute that Brooke was going to be single, I mean, every man was that they're trying to dive themselves into being with her. Which, by the way, I know you haven't watched it, but like Deacon proposed to Brooke, and I'm like, bro, you're living with a sociopath.
Yeah,
I mean, what? Even if she would have just said yes, where was that going to go?
yeah,
Oh yeah, I forgot about the sociopath that I'm knocking boots with. Like,
yeah, yeah. I feel like they should give Brooke and Ridge just a break from Canvas. Let's give us like they can still be there supporting the characters. Put them in the background for a little bit because I have been exhausted. Like I've been watching the show since 2006, and this has just been every single year. Like it has been exhausting. And like I remember when I first started watching B&B, Stephanie, Ridge's mother, sent a man to seduce Brooke, and then he did the R word with Brooke as a result. So then that brought Brooke and Ridge back together. Okay, fine, I'll take that. That was noble. But then it just like it kept happening year after year, year after year after year to a point I'm just kind of like, I want a break. I want a true break from Richard Brooke just for 1 year, writers. I'm not asking for too much. That's all I'm asking for. Just 1 year. Or at least have them in a different storyline. Maybe, I don't know, like Brooke is in some business feud storyline with her sisters, or maybe they've covered some secret about their mother, something else outside of this Ridge and Brooke thing, where maybe she's married to Ridge and she's dealing with her own stuff, but outside of that. And that's because this has been the storyline every single year. And I honestly am exhausted with it. And I felt like they tried to do this with Steffi, Liam, and Hope for the next generation. That's why when Finn died, I was like, oh God, no. Because I was like, we're gonna end up right back in that love triangle again. And I was like, I really don't want this. So when they brought Finn back, I was like, thank you, God. because I could not go through that again with the Liam and Hope thing. So, and like I said, you've only been watching now, I think, for about a year now, right? With B&B.
Yeah.
And I can already tell you're exhausted. You just got here. You just got
Yeah, I just got here. I was like, yo, bro, this ain't working. Now, what I will sit there and say, before we move on, is that almost all my reviews I always sit there and say I feel sorry for people who like, oh, have a good night, Alicia. I feel
here.
sorry for the people who are fans of B&B because here's the thing: if I'm exhausted and I've only been watching this for a little bit, I can only imagine the people who've been putting in time watching this show for years to be like, why are you giving me leftovers? You just gave me that like last year. You gave me the same time. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you that cheap? Like, so yeah, I will sit there and say that. And Apple did sit there and say they kept EJ. Yeah, that's true. Shakira said they redeemed Todd. Yeah, they did. They did. I mean, they did. Lisa said Todd was dating Marty Sambrook. I don't know who that
Yeah.
is. Nikisha said, I'm hoping Sheila finds the ring and thinks Deacon wants to. Yes, Nikisha, because Sheila is delusional as hell. I already said to have a good night to Alicia. You want to pronounce that for me?
Which one?
Angelique.
Angelique.
Oh, I said it right the first time.
Yeah, you
Um,
did.
uh, um, oh, that would be funny. Yeah, Nikisha, yeah, would. And then Shakira just says, good night, Alicia. Alika Angelique says also good night. I am getting the names right. I'm very bad with names. I've said that from jump. So usually I sit there and try to say Stanford and so forth. Um, but yeah. I think we kind of covered them. I think we kind of covered all of them,
I think so too. I think
unless we kind of missed something. But I think we kind of covered all of them.
because you
So
cover all the big returns, right? Charlie, Heather Weber, and then the mannequin.
yes, which I'm just
I'm excited for that actually.
I was like, and I forgot because you didn't watch it this week, so I was like, wait, you didn't know about Deacon proposing to Brooke,
No, I didn't know.
which
Just
just
now.
out of the blue, I I laughed so hard during that whole thing because I'm just like, you're knocking boots with a sociopath. And then he goes home and Sheila's all like, oh, you want to be with me, and keeps calling him daddy, and they start making out, and I'm just like, Deacon,
Wow.
I was like, Deacon, you're my favorite character, and you're confusing the hell out of me at this point. When did this whole thing start turning into something other than, oh, I'm so tired of you being here. You're gonna get me caught. You're gonna get me arrested too. Them just having full blown makeout scenes in the living room. When did that happen? Is this some sort of what do they call that? When you're captive for a while with somebody, but then you
Stockholm
start to,
syndrome.
yes. I
Yeah.
feel like it's some sort of Stockholm syndrome. I feel like that because I'm like, where did that come from? Or was the first time they knocked Booster so good that he was like, yeah, I can see me doing this a couple of times a week. I mean, I'm gonna hate you, but yeah.
But this is what I know about the show is like the only characters that can be the characters of moral pillar, the moral pillars on the show is Brooke, Ridge, and then like Liam and Hope, and everyone else is almost like a pseudo villain. I'm noticing on the show, and my thing with B&B, like I said, I always thought for the longest time it was because of show power, that power of the P. Sometimes those things can do things to people. So, Keisha, I think so. Sometimes those things can really do them things to people.
There's no I think so. It's just guaranteed. Let's just be real. Let's just be real.
Thanks to people. But I feel like I always thought it was because B&B was half an hour. But like I said, as I watch international shows, they're half an hour. And even soaps from back in the day, also back in the day, American soaps were half an hour from GH and everything else, and they brought it in the half an hour. They brought it, not this kind of content. And like I said, for 10 years, because when I watched B&B, I saw a collection of different storylines come about where Katie was shot by Storm, Brooke and Donna, their brother Storm. He shot Katie accidentally, and she had to get his heart. Stephanie had to confront her mother, played by Betty White, was her child abuser. Um, Pam had sicked the dogs on Donna, and Donna had this honey thing, and that's how the whole honey bear reference came out in B&B. Like I saw those kinds, like, or when the Foresters lost Forester Creations to Nick Maroney, because I think it was Stephanie had found out Jackie was a prostitute, but because Stephanie threw Jackie off of a staircase, Jackie, who was Nick's mom, decided to take the opportunity to blackmail Stephanie Forrester to get control. Like these are storylines I saw back in B&B back in the day, and it's just not equating to what I'm seeing now. It's and I know you hate that, Albert, because you're always like, okay, we got to focus on what do we like about the soaps now.
No, but I do understand that though.
And that's why YNR, when they did the Chelsea storyline this week, I was like, finally, something different. Finally, so.
You're absolutely right. And I think I just don't like it a little bit because it's like it's something that's very obvious. Like we can look back and when we did our top stories or whatever, one of my things of course was Jerry Jackson, the Metro Court, and the water pathogen and stuff like that. We don't get that stuff now. I mean, now we're getting the hook killer, except for he took a break this week, but my thing is it's very easy to sit there and talk about the stuff that happened back then, that we liked back then.
Right.
It's much more. The sad thing is that it shouldn't have to be a challenge. I think that's the problem. It shouldn't have to be. What is really good about now? It's like if I have to think about it, they're doing something wrong.
Right. Nikisha
Now, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Read comment.
She's excited. I'm excited. There's a fashion coming. Can't remember the last time there was on the show. But Nikisha, let me say this. I feel like with B&B, and I know people say B&B is not known for these kind of storylines, but how awesome would it be B&B? And I said this before, they did a serial killer storyline involving the Forrester models, and someone was killing them off. And we think it's Thomas, but it's somebody like, I don't know, like Wyatt Spencer or Justin Barber who's killing out the Forrester models. I just feel like if we had a storyline like that, and I know Brad Bell is not into gory storylines. He feels like it's too General Hospital. He literally said that in an article. Those storylines are too General Hospital. Like he doesn't even do gunshot storylines on B&B. It's too General Hospital, too mob-esque. That's what he said back in 2016. But I feel like if they had a storyline like that, how great would that be? Because when we look at some of the greatest serial killer storylines, and I think I spoke about this to you, Albert. I think I did. See, or someone else. Some of the greatest serial killer storylines that made them so good is that usually the ones that were the best, like the Salem Stalker or the one on Loving, everyone was killed in a different way, right? Everyone was killed. I think you saw some of the Salem Stalker storyline.
Yeah.
There was a lion, there was a pinata, on. Everyone was killed in a unique way. And it was the same thing on Loving. Somebody was strangled, somebody was cemented to death. I don't know how that happens. Like it's cement poured on them and it turned to a statue. Like everyone was killed in such a unique way. And I feel like on soaps, we need that level element of surprise. That's why with Chelsea, I said, I need her to jump. For me, she needs to jump. I know it sounds dark, but I need her to jump because I need
I think what it comes down to, you need a certain level of suspense, something that's not predictable. So I totally get that. Now, Lisa Rhodes, Sonny and Leo, do you think, they're definitely going to cheat. That's going to happen.
The Sonny and Leo, yeah.
Yeah, definitely going to cheat. We both see that coming. Shakira writes, I'm afraid. So, Lisa and Jada going to be pregnant. Yeah. Believe Eric and Nicole going to cheat. Yeah. Nicole's definitely going to cheat.
Alex is going to blackmail Sonny. I'm telling you. What I think is going to happen is maybe Sonny and Leo are going to cheat. Alex finds out, and he's going to blackmail Sonny to get his shares in Titan or something like that. Because just the way they were talking on the phone, and so I was like, yeah, it's on the phone. And then the way Alex like, trouble in paradise. He didn't say it, but he was kind of implying that. And I was like, I was going to do something there. Like, I just see him doing that. I see him doing that.
Yeah. Nikisha wrote just like Justin. I mean, Nikisha wrote like Justin getting revenge for Emma.
You don't even know who Justin is, do you?
No, because
I was. Let me give you a backstory. Who Justin is. Justin is Bill Spencer's assistant, and he's also the cousin to Lily, Devon, and Nate on The Young and the Restless. Well, he's on Bold and Beautiful. Emma was his niece, and Emma got killed in like battery acid or something on behalf of Thomas.
Jesus Christ.
And Justin went rogue on Bill. I want to say a couple months ago to a year ago, where he framed Liam for Thomas's friend's Vinny's death, and he did that to get back at Bill because Bill was always see him as a sidekick or something like that. So that's the kind of the backstory with that. But see, that was a good storyline, and because they had been friends for 10 years, and Justin also has a son with Donna Brooks' sister. Yeah, they
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
son.
no, yeah.
So so that's
Didn't
backstory.
he? Didn't he like step in traffic or something like that? I heard. Benny.
Yeah, Vinny did. Yeah, Vinny did. He killed himself so that Hope could go back to Tom. It's so stupid. That was the stupidest thing ever.
Wow, I remember when somebody wrote that in the comment section because I kept asking, I was like, "What happened to Benny?"
So stupid. So completely stupid. Like, who was gonna? I'm gonna kill myself so you guys can get back together. That was so stupid. A grown man, like he doesn't have nothing else to do.
Other than to get his friends back together. I mean, his friend with the love of his life or whatever back together.
Yeah, yeah. It was ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Now, Lisa says Justin is related to Lily and Devon.
Yes, because his cousin is Drusilla and Olivia and Drusilla are sisters, and Olivia is Nate's mom. So Nate really was Neil's godson, but he was technically Neil's nephew also by marriage through Drusilla and all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah.
Thomas ran Emma off the road.
Okay, yeah, that's right. It wasn't battery acid. Hope was the one that actually left Thomas to die in the battery acid. That's why I don't understand why he wants her so much. I don't get it.
Oh, okay, all right. Good one, Ethel. Nikisha says Emma died in a car accident, but it was Thomas' fault. Then it says Lisa says Emma was texting and driving.
Yeah, damn texting and driving.
I feel like was that like a PSA or something like that, or was that like supposed to be included? Because I feel like that might have been, same thing with Chelsea jumping or about to jump off the ledge or whatever.
I don't remember seeing a PSA episode. I thought it
Well, I mean,
was
not like a PSA, but when they sit there and say, da 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 da, where things about to get real.
right, 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 right. I don't know how they did it though, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean though. I know what you
Yeah.
mean. I mean, let me ask you this: would you want Chelsea to jump?
No. I feel like it would be much more better if she was because I mean, here's the thing. I'm looking at when she showed that view, there's no way that she's gonna live. Okay, that's just not gonna happen. But I think it'll be really good to sit there and see the results of that and see people actually care. And I feel like that's one of those things where it's like you don't know what someone's really dealing with. Like you said, everyone treats her like dirt, this, that, and the third. So it'd be really interesting to sit there and see people's reactions, see how they would feel, how bad they would feel. And plus I mean, I don't really have much use for Chelsea, but I don't want to see the character die. I feel like maybe that might be a little bit too dark.
Because
And I
I wouldn't
normally like
mind.
dark
I
stuff,
just want her
but
to jump. Like I don't mind if she jumps and then she actually holds on to the ledge, and then someone comes and tries to help her up. But I want to see that attempt. And I know that sounds dark. I hope that sounds so dark if we say that, but I want that for the
Chuck,
suspense, and then I feel like I want people to know that she's really not playing and that she's serious. You know what I mean? And not just looking down, like, oh my God, like I want people to know that she was really going through it. So that way, she makes that attempt, even though she still survives, obviously, because someone pulls her up, people could see she was really going through it. And that way, the hearts of hopefully everybody can be changed. That's like the only way that's going to be impacted. That makes sense.
but it looked like she did jump in the previews, though. It looked like she started to leap. I would have to sit there and rewatch it again. It
Yeah, I
looked
have
like
to
she
watch it
started
too
to.
because I didn't see that. They didn't show nothing
That's
about
all.
her in the previews. I could have sworn for next week.
That's all it was like. When he was like, oh, I wanted her to jump. I was like, I kind of swore it looked like she did that, but I mean, it looked like somebody was coming in there, but it did look like she was like, I'm gonna do it,
Right,
you
right.
know.
Because
But again,
honestly, she was kind of I think she was kind of blackmailed by Victor to give up Johnny because Victor brought Chelsea to town to break up Billy Victoria. She was brought as a con artist to seduce him. That was her original intention of why she was there, and she gave up Johnny obviously, and I get it. Like she has nobody in town, which is just it's really sad, and I feel like it's poor writing on the writer's part because Chloe's just not a good friend. She's just not. It's not a good friend. Yeah, I just have over Chloe. But seeing her spiral like that, honestly, I thought she was gonna take pills. That's what I thought it was gonna be. I thought she was gonna take pills. When she was in the bathroom, that's what I thought was gonna happen. She was gonna take pills. Someone's gonna find her there. That's
Okay.
That's what initially. So when she came down to the lobby and joined Adam, I was like, oh, okay, well, what's gonna happen next? Let's see what happens. So,
Well, I don't know. I think because I saw the previews and I might have accidentally saw a little bit because they always shoot it a day ahead. So sometimes you can sit there and watch it on certain places
right.
where you can see the next day's episode early.
So you
So I
watched
saw
Monday's episode already
well, I saw a little bit by accident. We'll just put it that way.
by accident. How you just accidentally clicked on the video?
But when
and
I see
started
that they
watching for a
do
couple of minutes.
now it says, Lisa, if Chelsea jumps, Billy would blame himself since he was the one that had her visit that area. Ethel said Billy stopped her from jumping.
How do you know that, Ethel? Ethel, see, come on, Ethel. Ethel saw Monday's episode.
And then Nikisha says, "Don't spoil it. I watched it. I think it's better for it." Well, I didn't even watch the whole thing. I think I saw like a few seconds of it.
No, I
because
think I was responding to Ethel's comment when she said, "Don't
Oh,
spoil."
okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ethel watched on Monday. See, Ethel came here and caused some trouble now. we all don't have the other wrestlers from Canada up here. Now I gotta go quickly watch it so I can pretend to be surprised when I see it. It's like I had to go pretend to be surprised when I saw Heather Weber. Because I already seen it from Lakeisha's Lanika's thumbnail. So
I do remember when Lanika was actually in the chat, and Nikisha was in the chat, and then I really started just messing up the names because I'm just like Lanika, Nikisha. Oh hell, this is gonna be because I'm already bad with names. So it's like when I saw her in the chat, I was like. Ethel says she always watches a day ahead.
Okay. Ethel, I'm not mad at Ethel because Ethel probably thinks that we all watch it a day ahead because it's out there for everyone to access. But sometimes only on YouTube, and you got to watch it when it has a zoom in. You're like, "Hi, Victoria," and then just zoom on the person, and zoom out. How do you watch it, Ethel? Spill it. How do you watch it if it's not on YouTube? Oh, but if you don't have to reveal all your secrets. I do the same things. I don't reveal all my secrets because I want the site to still stay there for me to watch them.
Yes. I mean, sometimes here's the thing. Even when you put in the name of the show and the date, it will still sometimes show you the episode ahead. So even if I'm thinking I'm clicking onto the right one, it'll still be like, no, I don't remember this. And yeah. Right. Watch ahead too, but I try not to spoil it. Oh, okay. Nikisha says. Yeah.
My Canadian piece hooked me up. Okay, I knew it. She got the Canadian hookup. She got honestly, what you could do. Okay, can I say this on the chat? Okay, yes, I can. I just won't say which VPN site I use. So what you could do, everybody in this chat, I'll give you like a little hookup. All right, what you can do. All right, get you a free VPN. I'm not gonna say no names because I can't have y'all blowing up my spot. All right, get you a free VPN. Have it based in Canada, and then you can go on global.com and then you watch your thing. Honestly, if I did like that, I would have Peacock for free. But I'll pay the $199. I'll support the show. They need the money. We need some new sets.
I just keep loving how you keep saying you support it for $199, and I'm here like a damn chump paying $4.99. But you know what? It's all good. I'm gonna sit there and just write it off as a work thing.
Because the thing is, I canceled right after Beyond Salem, and then I was okay. I was like, eventually I'm gonna go do this description thing because I gotta go watch it when they come back when they're going to Peacock. And then all of a sudden they came out with the $199 deal, and I know why they did that because they did not want to lose their viewers. They were scared. Yeah. They were scared. So I was okay, cool, $199, cool. I'll go ahead and do it. But if I had to, because apparently they can still watch in Canada for free, which I didn't know that. Yeah, they can watch in Canada for free. So some of y'all got a good VPN. I'm just letting y'all know. I don't know. That's why I watch in HD.
won't be seeing that zoom in and out crap.
Yeah,
But
we see that zooming in from YouTube.
the music that be coming in, I'm just like, I'm trying to hear what's going on, but
Yeah, the music they put over it, and, they do. I wonder why do they even post that on YouTube? Because it's like your channel's gonna get taken down the next day, so you're not. There's no monetization happening here, or is it just they're just really passionate about the people that see our soaps? So I'm cool with that too.
I feel like that's the thing. It has to be the thing because even everything that they're doing, like, come on, sis, you know that at some point you're gonna sit there and take this down. But listen, they're putting it on with days, so I'm like, whatever.
It's gonna say NBC Universal has removed this on copy grounds, right? You'll see
Yes,
something like that,
yes,
or like but now the spoiler channels, they have just like I said, they just been getting on my last nerves, coming with these ridiculous theories for the hook, coming in. I kind of want to report them, because I feel like y'all just doing this just to like get clickbaits and views. I
yes,
don't want to do that because I don't want to put none of that energy out there for my channel.
yes.
Thinking that, I know what it's like, but it just feels so thirsty.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, definitely thirsty as hell. Um, yeah, and especially with the thumbnails, especially with the thumbnails, they'll put some crazy thumbnail.
And the voiceovers are always like someone in this deep foreign accent, and they don't give a damn about the show. You can tell by the way they're reading it. They going on. It's usually like I think it's usually like an Asian or African accent here. Is are you watching The Young and the Restless? Michelle Morgan has quit the show. And I'm just like, they get all the facts wrong. I'm like, really? That's what we do.
Nikisha says, I hate those channels. Yeah, I do too. And they always pop up too. Especially when I'm just looking at it, I'm just like, that some fool is going to sit there and subscribe to that channel. Yeah, and Nikisha, yeah, they do have so many subscribers.
Yeah,
while me and you are sitting there working.
We're trying. We're trying to do the right thing.
There's always a loophole for people.
We're trying to do the right thing. We're like the Hortons and they're like the Demaras. All this underhanded ways. Or like I said, and I think we talked about this last time alive where with Nikisha, somehow like they have this one spoiler video where it was like not spoiler, but like those spoiler channels where it was like, oh, B&B stars then and now. And they showed a picture of Brooke and they showed someone in the next in side by side next to her in the picture that sort of like her, but clearly was not her. And that lady looked like 1,000 times year old. And like, oh, then and now. And then it's like that clearly wasn't her, but they just had to click.
Yes, I seen that too. I almost actually want to click onto it just because I want to see, but I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not giving you that one view. I'm not going to give you that one satisfaction. That's what I'm not going to do.
Those one views, yeah. I was like, I didn't even want to. I still want to report those channels. So I'm like, man, y'all are just like, well, like I'm not going to do that. Get it how you live.
Because at the end of the day, people are going to see through it. Now, one of the last things I want to sit there and say, you remember Phoenix Tremaine? Yes. I don't know if you remember. He does. Yes. Yeah. He's actually back.
Let's talk about the episode. Was that him?
Yes. No. That's Andre Epps.
Yes. Phoenix Tremaine does the spoilers. Yeah, spoilers.
Yes. So he's actually back. He was going through something. Well, some sort of like sickness or whatever. He's a lot better now. But that was another person I was sitting there like wondering about because I was like, what happened to him? First, it was the girl that I can't remember, something Jessica D or something. She just Thanos. And then I was like, and the reason I'm bringing up Phoenix Tremaine is because somebody said that Phoenix Tremaine and JLJ Media kind of look alike. It was like, oh, you look like Phoenix Tremaine, and James like, I have no idea who you're talking about. Like he didn't know who he was.
Right.
But I don't know. I just thought I'd bring that up because I know a lot of people actually like his channel as well. So.
Right.
Yeah. He's been ill. Yeah. And Danny Bear, Danny Bear's another person. I don't know if you know about. Yeah, no, but she had COVID.
Wow.
Danny Bear's yeah, so she seems like she's doing a lot better now. So.
Wow. Well, yeah, I'm glad to see they're feeling better. I'm glad to, because I understand how it is. It's like you can't post for a minute. I was super sick this week. I got better. I was drinking my little herbal teas, my little natural remedies. I was super sick this week, but I'm a little bit better now. So
I remember the phone conversation. So trust me, I know you was going through it. I was going through it last week, Brock was actually going through it. I think like maybe last week or something. So it's going around, baby. It's going
Because
around.
I had thought for a hot second maybe I had COVID because I was just at Disney last week, but then I was like, nah, it wasn't Disney. And look at me, I'm back. I'm back in the
Yeah,
labs.
no, you know what's sad is that you can't really tell when you have COVID or not. Like sometimes you could just be really sick, and sometimes, oh yeah, thank you, Shakira. And some it just you don't know, you know. Um, but I think that's actually about it as far as doing all the shows, though.
I think that's it.
Um, yeah. So with that being said, I think we're gonna sit there and just end the stream right here. But I do want to sit there and thank everyone for joining. I know it was, we was mostly doing talking and stuff like that and kind of chatting towards the end. But I feel like it just gets a little kind of mixed and messy and stuff like that when it's like it's one thing is if it's just your stream or my stream because then it's a lot easier to sit there and chat. So I hope people don't take it too personal. Any last words you want to sit there and say?
No, this was fun and long live the StreamYard. Don't mess with Zoom. Yeah. Zoom is not it. No, seriously, this is very simply done. I loved it. I love how simple this is done. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun. Nathan says, "See you on Dion's corner." I'm gonna be watching Dion's corner tonight. I have my chocolate
Yes.
cake on the way. Yeah, chocolate cake.
You got some cake? Okay, I got some.
The chocolate cake.
I got the rest of this to sit there and finish.
I was trying to eat healthy this week, but it didn't happen. I'm gonna try again tomorrow. Start over tomorrow.
You're a lot better than me. You're a lot better than me. So yeah, I want to sit there and thank everyone for joining. Nikisha, Shakira, Lisa, Nate, um,
Who else?
Apple.
We have Angelique, Monique, Sierra from earlier, Alicia E, Sierra, George, Blackman. Okay, I feel like I'm doing like a graduation roll call. Da, 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 da. Angelique Sanford. Graduation. All right, and then we have who else? Ethel. Is that everybody? That's everybody, right?
I feel like there was probably more people, but most of them, like Alicia said, goodnight. Um, the someone with the name D, Kenshin. I can't remember her first name or his. Yes. So yeah. But anyway, yes, Sierra, have a good night. Angelique, I'm actually glad I did this with DC because I also got to know your first name. Right. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for joining. Be safe, and well, both of us will sit there and see you in the next video.
Bye, guys. See you guys in the next one.
Have a good night.